Let's go live. Let's go live. Hello, friends. How are we doing? Let's go live. As you're popping in, as you're tuning in, let me know you're here. Say you're watching me live. Say you're tuning in on the replay. Welcome to our chat about how to achieve your goals without having to pause your life. We are just going to have a candid conversation today. The last few discussions I've had with really been, what's up, Casey? Has been really more education, teaching you something. This is more or less like, let's just chat about some of the things that I've noticed as a dietitian and personal trainer when it comes to achieving goals, when it comes to the struggles that some people have, the struggles that I've had in the past. So let's kind of just share stories. And as you're tuning in, give me a wave, say hello, just so I know you're there. A couple of folks are watching now who I haven't seen your name pop up, so say hello. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Jenny. What's up, Casey? Corinne's here. Say hi, Corinne.
Hi.
She's my oldest daughter, for those of you that don't know. She is how old?
9.
Okay, and again, as you're tuning in, think about some of the struggles that potentially you have had when it comes to achieving a goal, whatever that goal might be, whenever it comes to some of the things that maybe you've had to turn down because you can't do some things because they don't align with your goals. I'm talking more or less on the food front. I'm talking more or less on the drinking front. Anne posted an answer to the poll when I was talking about certain things that we should talk about on these lives, and she wrote what did she say? Something about social situations. But I'm going to kind of touch on that too. And we have Mr. Kitty here. So as you're tuning in, again, say you're here, give me a hi, give me a wave, let me know you're here. I'm going to give just a few more seconds to let some other friends pop on, just so we can have a conversation. I do not have myself on Do Not Disturb.
That's good.
All right, that one time I had myself on Do Not Disturb and I was yelling at y'all. What's up, Casey? 2 Caseys in the house. Casey Woods, Casey Warden. Awesome. Awesome. Hi, Tracy. So some of you are doing my Take on the Weight Room Floor challenge. You all are in your first week. Some of you have done a couple of the workouts now. Let me know if you're doing it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. They're kicking butt. I have 10 lovely ladies doing it. What's up, Holly? What's up? So again, we're talking about how we can still achieve our goals and not have to pause our life, because unfortunately, like when you say to yourself or someone else, or you make this decision that you want to lose weight or that you have a goal, you can't just pause life. You can't just say, okay, please put me in a bubble, and in a bubble where I can control every environment, every factor around me, then I might be more successful. Fortunately, that's not the case. But we can control lots of things, but not everything, okay? Hi, Sue, how are you? Corinne, you gonna talk to them? She didn't want to? What's wrong?
I need to get the Furminator.
Okay. Okay, so let's get into it. So really, we're gonna talk about that. So let me share you an example from my past. So most of you know, I got my hair colored. Yes, I did get my hair colored. Most of you know that at some point in my life, so when I was in my 20s, I had a weight loss journey. So I lost nearly 70 pounds. And because I lost all that weight, I changed my diet, I changed my exercise routine. And there were often times that I was invited to parties, or that I was in areas with food, and I'm just like, oh, this doesn't really agree with the meal plan that I'm on. Oh, what do I do? Do I turn down the invitation? Do I not? And I've done both. So I certainly have been guilty of saying, oh, sorry, I can't go to that dinner tonight and I give some bogus excuse. And then really the excuse in my head was, I can't eat the food that's there because it doesn't agree with my meal plan or it doesn't agree with my goals. There was one point when I was doing that 90-day challenge that I told you ladies about, when I was participating in that, where the meal nutrition support was pretty much going into ketosis, really low carb, and against my better judgment, I did it. And I vividly remember having my neighbors invite me over for dinner, and she was serving toasted ravioli for dinner. And I knew if I had that toasted ravioli, all the 10 days that I ate so low carb, because I was in ketosis, like I had those urine dipsticks and I could tell that my body was in ketosis and I could tell I was losing weight, that I brought a salad to dinner across the street with my neighbors. What's up, Pam? And I felt really funny. I had to explain myself. Julie, why did you bring a salad to dinner tonight? Why can't you eat what, Megan served? Well, because I didn't want to destroy all the hard work, right? Casey has FOMO, so I don't like to turn down social situations, but you have also brought your own food. So there's two things to say about that. So for sure, you can bring your own food. And if you're okay with going, yep, I don't care, I'm bringing my own food because it supports my goals, that's great. That's a decision that you made, and it's good, it supports your goals. However, the other side of the coin is, can you always logistically bring your own food to a restaurant? Can you bring it to a work convention? Can you bring it to, maybe a conference you're going to for work, and there's no choice but to eat the food that you're served, right? That's not always the case, but it's always a really, really good strategy if you need to. So for sure, my best advice for you would be, at that point, if you are in a situation where you find yourself saying, I really shouldn't be eating this, or, I really, this is not in agreement with what I'm eating in my eating patterns, then you make the best of it. Make the best of it. It is one meal, or potentially 1 or 2 evenings, or whatever it may be. It is 1 or 2 events that food that you're eating, even if it's not in line with your goals, is not going to make that big of a difference. Now, I know there's certainly a stat where you can look up to say what percentage of one meal is in an entire month. So if you do that percentage, if you eat 4 times a day and you have one meal that throws you off in a month, how many percent of it is that? How many percent? Not very many. So for sure, that one meal isn't going to hurt your success or your progress towards your goals. Another example I had was when I was doing bodybuilding. So of course, that was a very strict diet regimen to get me down to a very low body fat percentage. I do not recommend anybody ever trying it. The discipline is great. I love the challenge of it all, but getting to that really low body fat was really unhealthy and really, really disordered in terms of the types of foods that I had to eat. What's up, Daniela? Congrats on the new job. That's super awesome. That I would go to big extremes of looking at the menus before, if I had to go out to dinner, finding the lowest calorie, lowest salt, lowest boring food is what I called it, boring food. Or I would say I have to go to Chick-fil-A because I know the macros, I know what I can eat there. I used to travel a lot for my trainer job when I was doing bodybuilding shows. So I would literally travel with a cooler of food, and I would get a hotel that had a kitchen. And so I was not doing any sort of fast food, anything like that. I would always cook my food while I was out of town. That was extreme. Do I want to live like that? No. Do I ever recommend that you guys do those extremes? No, because it is entirely doable to still achieve fat loss, weight loss, strength gain, any of those goals that you might have without having to sacrifice the things that you do in your life. So in the comments, you tell me, what situations are you frequently in that challenge you when it comes to what to do to achieve the goal? What should you do in the certain situation? So give me some examples and we can kind of talk through them. That's the idea of this conversation tonight. It's more interactive, so please do put something in the comments. Again, if you're watching this on the replay, I'm going to come back to the comments and give you guys some, candid feedback, because these are the things that I deal with my one-to-one clients. These are the things that I know. Casey travels a lot. She's one of my one-to-one clients. Time for sure. Let's talk about traveling. So when it comes to traveling, I think now more than ever, there certainly is more health conscious restaurants that you can find to supply your own food. Most places, it would be not so hard to find something that would be aligned with your goals, okay? Jenny, I see your comment about girls' night and snacks and drinks. We'll talk about that too. But when it comes to traveling, there's lots of different things. So think out of the box when it comes to traveling. You don't want to go to the extreme to pack a cooler, but maybe you could go to a grocery store when you get there. Go to a grocery store and go to the salad bar and get things that are quick and easy, that are already prepared. Absolutely. Holly's traveling as well. Yeah, sports and work. So it boils down to being prepared. So we have so much information out there these days that you know where you're going and you know what sort of restaurants are there. You know the food availability there. Like you could easily access that information and go, okay, where am I going to be? What am I going to be around? Will I have a fridge? Will I have cooking equipment? Will I have anything that will help me stick closer to my goals? And in the end, if all of that is a no, where you're like, okay, I'm just going to have to be at the mercy of each situation, we sit down and we say, okay, at each situation, how can I make the best choice given the circumstances? So I'll take a client of mine, for example. He traveled for a work conference, and he's like, these conferences, they feed us this like meat and potatoes food, and there's never a vegetable in sight other than potatoes. What should I do? I know I should be focusing on, fibrous vegetables, but what do I do? And of course, my advice was do the best in the situation. So if you look at this spread and you're like, okay, what is the best here? There's often going to be a side salad being served. Do some side salads, have those, and then make the best of it. For sure, being prepared is going to be your answer, right? I was just talking to Jenny on our call about being prepared. Like there's just no other option. Like you have to be prepared. Otherwise you prepare to fail. Okay. So traveling is a big one. And I know we all travel. And I tend to think about traveling as being prepared, number one. Number two, making the best of the situation. Okay. So if you can think about traveling that way, and maybe not being so focused, laser focused, so perfectionist about food. We often think that food has to be perfect. Some of you that are working with me one-on-one, I've given you a meal plan, I've given you a nutrition prescription, I've given you all of these kind of estimates when it comes to food. But those are just it. It's just an estimate. Like what I've given you and what you can find on the internet and what the stupid cat gif is keep going on my Facebook page right now. I gotta move it. Oh my God, it's distracting. But all that is just estimates. So like even if you ate perfectly that meal plan, are you guaranteed to lose weight or are you guaranteed to gain strength? No, like it is such a gray area in terms of science that even if that meal plan says what you should eat, you may or may not be reaching your goals. So that being said, if you eat a little bit more one meal and a little less one meal, it's probably not the end of the world, okay? And I say this with a big old asterisk next to that statement because I am a self-proclaimed perfectionist, that if you give me something I need to be doing, I'm gonna do it. Just like the trainer I hire to write my programs, if I don't do the programs exactly how he writes it, there is no if, I do them because that's what I was told to do. So that's that kind of consideration too. Just remember that preparation is key, making the best of it in that certain situation. Okay, so we all travel. Looks like most of us are traveling. Let's talk about girls' night. Let's talk about drinking, because for sure, socializing is a big thing because we socialize. There's always food. There's always alcohol. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about alcohol when it comes to weight loss results, when it comes to just overall health. Alcohol is certainly something that doesn't help. It is never something that's any health professional is going to say, yep, go drink your heart out because it's going to help with X, Y, and Z. The only benefits that have been studied and proven and support is shown for health benefits are drinking red wine. And the red wine is truly just the antioxidants that come from the process of making the wine. So it's not necessarily having the alcohol. Okay, so that being said, we all know it's a part of our society. We all know it's a part of our life. If some of you choose that alcohol is not for you, great, that's awesome. But also remember that alcohol can still be consumed and achieve your goals. Now it has to be within moderation. absolutely has to be within moderation. And I will tell you that I'm a social drinker too, that I will have a glass of wine, 2 glasses of wine on the weekends. Gin and tonic is one of my favorite drinks. So for sure, I still do have my own drinks, but it does have to be within reason. And I don't know if you guys can relate to this. Put a yes in the comments, put a hell yeah in the comments. But as you get older, it is much harder to metabolize your alcohol and you feel the effects the next day. Would you agree? I'll give you a second to agree because I bet you do. I should play the Jeopardy music. Oh, my lands, yes, Holly. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, like you could have a binger one night when you're in your 20s and you wake up, you feel like you have a headache and then you're good. But yeah, now you have 1 glass of wine, you have 2 glasses of wine, holy cow, you have a headache and you're stuck in bed for the morning. So yeah, that is a sign. That is a sign that your body is not as efficient at metabolizing the alcohol, at getting through the dehydration that alcohol has. So for sure, if you plan on drinking the night away and encouraging multiple drinks in one night, it's not going to be conducive to a good feeling the next day. And I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, for sure. But social situations are a part of your life. So what does that mean for you? Let me tell you what it means for me. So I limit them. So I certainly do limit them. If I know, like let's say for example, last weekend, I went over to a neighbor's house on, I think Friday night. And I was like, okay, I'll have a couple of drinks. I had 2 drinks. And I'm like, just 2. I brought my drink. I had my 2. And then I was done. So I set a limit to myself and I said, I'm just going to have 2. Because anything after 2, then comes 3, then 4, then 5. And then you just get stupid. And then you eat stupid stuff. And then usually that would have been it. I would have been like, okay, I'm good. I don't want to have another night where I'm going to be social with my friends. And if I do, I think I might just say, oh, I'm just not gonna have any drinks, because you have to do it in moderation. And if you are thinking about moderation for most things, this is the one thing that really should be in moderation, because nothing really good comes from it. So that is, again, setting a limit with yourself, setting a boundary with yourself, potentially even telling like your significant other or your friends and saying, okay, tonight I'm not drinking very much. Just know I'm drinking 2. Don't pressure me. And if they pressure you, then like tell them to fuck off, right? Because if you set your limit to yourself, then yes, that's a strategy that says, I am only doing this. And you are putting yourself first and saying, this is a good thing for me, okay? Because then that's what happens. Jenny says social with my friends and then snacks. So if you drink, then come the snacks. And then if you drink more, then it comes more snacks. And it's just this kind of cycle of binging and overeating that you don't necessarily need. Would you agree? Yes. So I guess my advice for that would be setting your limit and sticking to your limit, giving yourself somebody that is your kind of accountability buddy, where you might go, like I tell my husband, like I'm only drinking 2 tonight. Or I'll tell my neighbor, we're not drinking that much tonight because we can't afford to be hungover tomorrow, right? So let's think about the consequences. Okay. Let's see. What else? What else do you guys struggle with? I see a couple more things in here that I'm going to touch on. What else do you struggle with? Tracy's a sugaraholic. Seriously, sugar is an addiction for me. It's shocking what they add sugar to in restaurants, processed food. That's why I stick to low carb options. Okay. Yeah, for sure. So that's really telling, Tracy. So when it comes to some sugar addiction or, like a sweet tooth, or a propensity to want sweets after a certain meal, like dinner. You might say, dinner's not over until I have something sweet. There's a couple of things around that. Sugar addiction is not the same as drug addiction, right? They activate similar regions in the brain that create reward, that create that pleasure-seeking feeling, because let's think about it from an evolutionary perspective. If you were some, human being that was before civilization, before we had, a food environment, food system, if you found something really, really sweet that's energy dense, that tells your body has high amounts of energy, it's rewarding. You're going to want to go find that again, because that is preservation of your body. Your body has more energy stores from, say, berries and fruits versus grains and meat, okay? So we have to know that your body is programmed to want this. And unfortunately, you can't just turn that off. You have that wired in your brain. That being said, it's also a habit that we've created. Would you agree? Say yes in the comments if you think the sugar that you crave is often around a habit of seeking something and then going to the food. So what are you seeking? Are you seeking this pleasurable feeling? Are you seeking, dessert after dinner as a kid? Absolutely. That's what I'm getting at. It's a habit. So how do you break that? How do you break that? So it's really like, once I got rid of the chocolate chips, I don't crave them. That's awesome. You have to be aware of it. So that's the biggest thing. So Tracy says she's already aware of it. Yeah, so I'm getting to it, Tracy. It's not easy. You certainly have to be aware of it. So start to notice them. Start to notice, when do you have the sugar craving? Do you have it at night? Do you have it first thing in the morning? Do you have it all the time? Start to notice it. And when you start to notice it, even tracking those behaviors, or they're in the laundry room, tracking those behaviors will give you lots of information. And so once you have that information of when you track it, or when you feel it, when you crave it, when you eat it, when you want it, then it can give you this information that you can help decode why. Why do you want it? So for me, I'll give you an example. I was that kid that always had dessert after dinner every single night. That was just a thing. So my body got programmed to go, okay, dinner's over. I need the sweet treat now. Is it hard to stop that habit? Absolutely. So what do? Simple things. Hi, Sally. Simple things, right? You crave it at night. So if you crave it at night, you can do those simple things. And unfortunately, like, if you say, okay, have fruit sprinkled with Splenda, have it with like Cool Whip, those things that are lower calorie but still super sweet, can help. But then it doesn't solve the problem of you are still seeking that higher calorie dense food item that makes you feel satisfied. So is it truly the satisfaction of eating something that is high calorie and super rewarding? Or is it you're just looking for some sort of pleasure hit of dopamine? Oftentimes it's the latter, where you're looking for some sort of pleasure, where you're looking for some sort of stimulus in your brain that rewards you for whatever behavior that is. It's the dopamine. During that time of the month, you want sweets. Yeah. There are other things too. So Tracy, there are other things that give me clues about your sugar addiction. And I say it in air quotes because we all crave sweets. If you eliminate sweets, if you do low carbohydrate, your body's just going to want it. And unfortunately, that might be the signaling that's happening in your body is you just want it now because you are very low carb. Okay? And we can talk more about that for sure. Ooh, that's a good topic, guys. Should we talk about, like, I don't want to call them fad diets, but like diets that have names? Intermittent fasting, paleo, low carb, what else? Mediterranean diet. Those things that have names. I say that because with things that have names, my father-in-law, I would eat my dessert before you eat your meal. That's cool. Eat it before. If you've got it tracked and you can put it in your calories, if you are tracking calories, cool. Eat it first. No one says you have to have dessert first or last. There are some dietitians that say serve your dessert with your meal. So if you are sitting down as a family, serve the dessert with it. So you can choose when you want it. I've never tried that. I think it'd be an interesting experiment to see, because typically I'm that person that if I'm going to have dessert, I have dinner, put my kids to bed, and then I'll grab a bowl of ice cream or, fruit or something. So anyway, so what else do we know? Casey says Greek yogurt mixed with sugar-free pistachio pudding, but yes, Mentos is, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it truly is, like, when it comes to stress and craving sweets, when it comes to wanting to eat something sweet, it's something else emotional, likely. Because if you are fully nurtured and nourished with food, you shouldn't be wanting sweets. Like if you have eaten a meal, you shouldn't need that extra calories from high, dense, calorie-rich foods. It is really just the pleasure that you're looking for. So my advice is you could turn to something else that gives you pleasure. You could, watch a show that is a guilty pleasure. Like, I don't know, The Bachelor, The Bachelorette. I don't watch those shows. Maybe you do. You could, I don't know. What are your guilty pleasures? Tell me in the comments. Tell me in the comments. It's sure in your brain, for sure. What are your guilty pleasures? Your husband. Casey Warden, your husband, who looks a lot like mine. I'll tell you a story. I went to her sister's party and I just kept looking at Casey's husband. I'm just like, dang, what the heck? Like, he looks just like my husband. Like, there's something about him. He so does. What are your guilty pleasures? What are your guilty pleasures? I'm looking at the rest of the comments. Chocolate ice cream. That's your guilty pleasure, Sally? Come on. I'm talking like the stuff that you don't want to admit. Like mine is like watching really stupid shows on Netflix. What am I watching now? I'm watching You. The show You. Your Cuda. What's that? All right, guys. What other things do you deal with when it comes to still living your life, still doing the things that you want when it comes to wanting to achieve a goal? Because I will be honest, the vast majority of adults, if you ask them, are you wanting to lose weight? Are you looking for a goal? Most people are going to say yes. So is there ever going to be a time that maybe you're not working to something? Probably not. Someone asked me if I'm trying to lose weight. Yeah, I want to lose a couple extra pounds, for sure. I just came home from Mexico. Of course I do. What else? What else can we chat about? Because this one for sure, I didn't have as much prepared to tell you guys tonight. I was really just looking to have a conversation with you guys to almost like open up the floor to, I don't know, support you all. What do you bring to parties to keep you from grazing on the crap? Good question. There's lots of ways you can approach this situation. So when it comes to like those parties that you see around Christmas or holiday get-togethers or Super Bowl parties, tons of ways you can do this. Of course, you can go to the party not being ravenously hungry. You can go to the party with somewhat of a full stomach. You can also bring things that you know are supportive of these healthy habits that we all try to develop. More vegetables, more fruits. And it seems really simple, just bring a plate of fruit, bring a plate of vegetables. But then once you're there in the moment, it is harder. It is so much harder to look at the spread of really good food when everybody's mingling and everybody's eating. So what do? Have a plan in place in your mind. So when you have this plan, you say, okay, at this party today, I am going to go to the food table and I am going to put on my plate, I am going to put vegetables on half of the plate. And then I'm going to try little bites of absolutely everything that I deem is something I want to try. So you might look at it and go, okay, there's probably 4 dishes here that I absolutely want to try. And the rest of it, you might be like, I could try that. I don't need that. I don't like wings. I don't like this. And kind of let those things that aren't important to you go. But then decide, okay, these are the things that I really want to try, and put it on the other half of your plate. So one half of your plate is those good vegetables. Probably at a party like this, they're going to be raw vegetables and dip. Carrots, celery, cauliflower, all those things, all those usual suspects for sure. Tiny, tiny portions. You're right. Because no one wants to go to a party like that and go, oh, sorry, I can't eat that. Oh, sorry, I really want to, but I can't. I'm on a diet. Don't get me started by people that say that. Hi, Rachel. So yeah, trying everything and then having that plan and saying, okay, I'm satisfied. So as long as you feel satisfied, that's the thing. Like when we're at a party like this, there are so many distractions. TV, food, music, people, all these distractions that you aren't truly listening to your body to say, I'm not hungry. I don't need to sit here and graze. Or maybe you do know. Maybe you're like, I'm not hungry, but I'm going to do it anyway. What about the situation in that party where like, I got no one to talk to? Or like, I don't want to talk to any of these people. Like at a party that maybe you don't know anybody, or maybe you don't feel as comfortable. So it's really easy just to sit and eat. That's harder. But again, as long as you have a plan in place and you tell yourself, this is my goal. This is how this party's going to go, then stick to it. And sometimes it's not as simple as saying just stick to your goals, but also realize that in the moment, if you make the bad choice or a choice that wasn't within your plan or within your idea of what success looks like, who cares? To be honest with you, one night of indulgence sometimes is really good for you, especially if you've been on a calorie deficit for a long time, especially if you've been constantly tracking your calories, if you've been really diligent with making sure you're doing the things you should be. One night of saying, whatever, I'm just gonna eat what I want, right? Doesn't really matter. In fact, it's really helpful because sometimes we call that refeeding. And refeeding means that you are gonna essentially kickstart and go, okay, here's some calories, body. Now I'm gonna take you back down in a deficit. Jenny and I were just talking about that when she went to dinner this weekend. She was like, yeah, I had Italian and I ate whatever the heck I wanted. Cool. That's totally fine. Yeah. What other things? I've had so many parties like that where I'm like when I had my weight loss back in the day, gosh, it's been 15 years now. I had those parties all the time. I was a college graduate student. So like all the time there was a party this, party that, party that. And yeah, you can say no, but sometimes you don't want to. You also don't want to. But at the same time, as long as you have a plan going in place, it sounds really simple. And I get it. Like when you're there, sometimes your plan goes to shit and it doesn't happen. And that's okay. We're only human. And in the end, I will be on my high horse for the rest of my life saying, your life is not meant to lose weight. It is not your number one goal of your adult life to lose weight. And if you're living your life that way, then that is the only thing you're focusing on, then we need to talk about other things. We need to talk about other things about how to fulfill your life with families, friends, hobbies, jobs that fulfill you, because if you are truly focused on just making your body smaller, other things to focus on. Now, doing this for all health reasons, obviously, is totally fine. Doing it so you don't have a heart attack, entirely great. Doing it so you don't have a stroke, so you're, 99 years old and dying peacefully on your deathbed, like that is fine. But you are not solely around to lose weight. Don't let anybody else tell you that. Be on my freaking high horse. What else? What else do we struggle with? I want the life of a cat. Do you guys see him? I want that life. I'll be honest with you guys and vulnerable with you guys. I recently started seeing a new therapist and he is trying to get to know me. And he was like, true or false, you are your productivity. And I was like, what's that mean? And he was like, you are only successful unless you are productive. And I was like, oh, okay, true. So your goal is not just to lose weight, but of course, my goal is to help you find those healthy habits that will get you there. Weight loss is truly just a secondary side effect to creating those healthy habits. Right, Corinne?
Yeah!
What's up with you?
I don't know.
Your grandparents are watching. Say hi to your grandparents.
Hi, children.
What else, guys? We've been chatting for about 30 minutes. What else you got? What'd you guys do for a workout today? Who worked out?
No one.
I did. I taught a spin class. And I walked on my treadmill.
You don't have a treadmill.
You are standing on my treadmill.
Okay, you don't have one downstairs.
What else, guys? What else? Sally, what did you do?
No, you didn't.
What workout did you do today? What would you guys think if I had Facebook Lives with members? have a conversation with Casey. Have a conversation with Holly. That would be fun. Get to know members. Tracy did body bump, extra sore from leg day. Casey did shoulders. Jenny did. Look at all these folks doing some workouts. Yeah, Sue, she did pump and Zumba. Was that over at St. Anne? Shaky. Awesome. Awesome. Tell me this. Did you have any takeaways from this conversation? I saw you in there, Pam, doing combat. What sort of takeaways did you have from this conversation? If you've been watching us from the beginning, or if you popped in, what sort of takeaways have you taken that you can share? And then what should we talk about next? I'm always looking for ideas. 10K steps, 2 yoga classes, 1 on Zoom, 1 in person. I got some text messages. Oh, Michael. Squats, shoulders, lunges, sled. I wish I had a sled here in my basement. How fun would that be? Have a plan, a very conscious one, for sure. Have a plan. If you plan, or if you don't have a plan, you plan to fail, I think is the saying. Yeah, we all have a lot in common, that's for sure. So like that was my whole idea with this group, guys, of coming together, having conversations like this, and knowing that you have the same struggles as somebody else. Somebody else has the same struggles that you have. And then we can share ideas together to say, okay, this is how I conquered this. And this is how I'm dealing with this. Like, those are the things. Like, my friend Becky posted in the group about, like, I'm in a cooking rut. Can you share with me some ideas that you use for your recipes? Because you can't go wrong with community. You know, we all need a helping community that builds us up, that supports us, that keeps us all focused, and also can support each other, for sure. Jenny says, plan to be prepared. If it doesn't go that way you thought, not to feel defeated. Tomorrow is a new day. Yeah. Someone tell me your favorite sports bra that doesn't give you a uniboob. I have 0 thoughts on that, Holly, because I have none to... I'm just a flat board. Anybody else? Casey, I'm not going to live my adult life trying to lose weight. Sometimes someone has to say it before you realize how you feel. And you don't want to live that way anymore. Fuck yeah. I struggle with that a lot. So like in this field, obviously being a dietitian, that's all I see is weight loss, weight loss, weight loss. People just want weight loss. I will have a job forever because that's all people want. And I want to scream from the rooftops that weight loss is not always the answer. So even if you lose all the weight that you want, if you don't deal with the crap that's between your ears, the mind that is potentially making you unhappy or unfulfilled, weight loss is not really going to be the answer for that. And that's been actually studied. There's some actual research studies out there where it says, studied a group of folks that lost weight and then did some mental assessments on them, and they weren't really any happier. In fact, they might have been even more unhappy because not only did they lose the weight, they were pressured to keep that weight loss, and they were more stressed about it. Yes, the number on the scale is not the real deal. Hi, Jackie. What's up, friend? Awesome. So if you're just joining us, we were talking about, kind of what we took away from this conversation. So if you are just joining us now, feel free to go back to the replay or start it over. I know once I post it, you can start it over. We have a few folks watching still. So for sure, if you still have your takeaway, feel free to put it in the comments. I'm continue to excited. That's okay, Jackie. Life happens. And that's the great thing about these types of discussion is you can kind of turn it on in the background while you're like cooking dinner and just kind of listen. That's what I do with a lot of my like coaching calls that I have with my business coaches. There are lots of calls with them, and I kind of just put it on the background and I listen, or I do something else, and I am productive. So I hope this helped, for sure. Oh, Holly, she was almost into, oh, okay, yeah. We'll talk about that. So yeah, oftentimes when the scale doesn't move, it's frustrating as fuck, right? When you've done all the hard work, you've done the work, but you don't see the results. I challenge you, Holly, because you wrote this, but I know everybody else has been in this situation where you've committed to tracking your food, you've committed to doing your exercise, and you haven't seen the results, I challenge each and every one of you to look at your behavior and look at everything else that you've done and find something else positive that you've taken away from it. So what if the number on the scale didn't move? Are your clothes fitting differently? Are you feeling more energized? Are you feeling more confident? Are you feeling stronger? Are you feeling capable? Right? Who gives a flying fuck if the number doesn't change? Because in reality, if you're doing two things, if you're eating in a calorie deficit, and if you're strength training, which are the two things I preach, your body is probably undergoing a composition change where fat is lost, muscle is gained, scale is neutral. And that may happen for a long time, okay? So the scale cannot be the number one readout of success. 100%, I'll say it again, the scale cannot be the only readout of success. And if you get frustrated by that number and you say that to yourself and look at yourself and go, but I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, and all of those things, right? You're doing the work. And maybe if you're not doing the work, you are doing some of the work. You're doing something. Because let's look at it this way too. If you're doing all the work and the number on the scale hasn't changed, but it hasn't gone up, that's a win. It hasn't gone up. It could have gone up. Right? Every gram of food, I will stage the course. Yeah. Y'all better give Holly a round of applause. She made it back to the gym, and that's big for her. So give her a round of applause in the comments, because she needs to know that support, because that's not easy. Getting back to the gym for a place that is hard and you feel self-conscious and you don't feel like you belong there, and then doing it anyway is really, really a big, big step. Okay? So even if that scale hasn't changed, damn it does not matter. Awesome? Awesome. Gosh, I love this job. You all make it so fun. I love it. That's right. You all compliment her. Congratulate her, because that's not easy. And I will say that my mother-in-law and my father-in-law are both on here, and they watch me all the time, and they have been committed to their goals and their journey too. So I do want to acknowledge them. They've been working their butts off, and I know they're frustrated with their journey too, but at the same time, same stuff. Just got to stay the course. Because what happens if you don't? The opposite things can happen. You have to think about that too. Of what happened if I wasn't doing the things that I'm doing to achieve my weight loss goals or my health goals. You could be going down the road that you don't want to think about. A road that is shorter life, a road that is feeling less fulfilled, a road that is feeling stressed, anxious, all of those things. So yeah. Here's to committing to yourself, to your health, your priority. You are a number one priority, because oftentimes women don't do that. Women will put themselves last. They are the burnt out person that is always taking care of somebody else. And I know we've kind of gone on some tangents, but just remember that you are just as important as everybody else in your life, and that if you don't take care of yourself, you can't pour from an empty cup. Right? Here's to all of you. Awesome. Enjoy the gym. Sue is so great. I wish y'all could know Sue. She is the best supporter of body combat. That's where I know you know Sue from, and she's so great at body combat, and she's just such a beast in that class. That's so cool. All right, guys, anything else you want to add before we hop over here? 8:45. Anything else? He's like talk all day. You're welcome. I'm having family pictures done on the 16th. I need to find some outfits. You can probably see some of my family pictures over here. That's the first one. Hey. No workout ever regretted, that's for sure. You're only one workout away from a good mood. It's another quote. Oh, here comes Dave. Maybe not. Okay, cool. All right, you guys, get out there, do some work, do your workouts, Stay the course. Hi, Jess. I'm going to publish this so you can watch it from the beginning because we are just closing up shop tonight. Have a great night, guys. And then if you have any comments about what we should talk about next, if that diet conversation about, anti-inflammatory and paleo and all those different types of diet, if that conversation is really good, let me know in the comments, because as much as I have lots of ideas in my brain, I would really love to hear from what you guys want to learn, what you guys want to talk about. So, all right, y'all, have a great rest of your night, and I will chat with you all soon. Bye.